April 14, 1912, a collision occurred that is still considered one of the world's worst naval catastrophes of all time. The sinking of the Titanic was an unfortunate event that has affected the world for over a century. In addition to the knowledge I have obtained through research, I've gone to museums about the Titanic's history, and I've also seen the sappy love story version numerous times. Today, I will talk to you about the background of the Titanic, what happened during the ship's maiden voyage, and the aftermath of the Titanic's accident. To start, I'd like to educate you on the Titanic's background. According to Thomas Linsky from the History Channel, the Titanic was a British cruise ship that set sail the Atlantic Ocean on April 10, 1912. The ship was carrying multiple of the richest people in the world at the time, along with numerous immigrants seeking new life in America. Titanic was the largest ship at the time, and the crew had plans to make it the quickest boat travel across the Atlantic Ocean. Although the boat was spacious, there were not enough lifeboats for the 2,200 crew members and passengers aboard. The people who planned the construction of the Titanic advised the ship to be unsinkable. Although the beginning of the Titanic's voyage seemed marvelous, it is famous for one reason: the iceberg collision. April 14, 1912 will forever be a date remembered in history. It is the day the Titanic killed hundreds of people because it sank. In the book, Titanic, a fresh look at the evidence by a former chief inspector of marine accidents, John Lang wrote about how the Titanic was receiving radio transmissions about how there was an abnormal amount of icebergs reporting during that night. Just before midnight, the Titanic struck an iceberg, beginning mass chaos throughout the ship. That was a short video of how the Titanic hit the iceberg and began to sink. The watertight compartments of the ship were unable to hold back the water from flowing in. Not even half of the people on board made it into lifeboats when the ship was fully submerged nearly 4 hours after it was hit. The sinking of the Titanic left hundreds dead, but there were survivors to tell the tale of this tragedy. News of the sinking of the once proclaimed unsinkable Titanic spread like wildfire. In an article published by the New York Times on April 15, 1912, it stated that the Carpathia turned around on its voyage to rescue the individuals in the lifeboats. The Carpathia saved 705 people in the lifeboats. 1,500 people died in total. A majority of the deceased were third-class passengers and crew members. After the sinking, there was a lot of investigating to whether or not this incident could have been avoided. In 1913, the first International Conference for Safety of Life at Sea was called in London. This meeting set up an international rule that each ship should be equipped with a lifeboat spot for every person on board. The Titanic plummeting to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean was a horrific event that affected families across the world, but it helped the creation of better passenger ships for the future. In conclusion, I spoke to you about the background of the Titanic, the incident that occurred during its first trek across the Atlantic Ocean, and the outcome of the Titanic sinking to the ocean bottom. The Titanic sinking altered the lives of millions for the worse, but it allowed nations to take action towards cruise ship regulations. After listening to this speech, I hope you have a better understanding of what the Titanic was and how it has shaped our naval life today.